All right, good afternoon. Nice to have you guys with us. A little bit later than usual. The Tigers actually hit baseballs today. I want to dive right into the draft. Fully clothed.
Yeah,
I want to dive right into the draft.
Please.
We have Brad Holmes sound, and I want to play the reverse of the reverse psychology. I want to congratulate Detroiters. We're going to decode, tongue firmly planted in cheek. We are going to decode Brad Holmes a week from today and the first round of the draft. So if I may, can I play you a piece of audio?
Let's go.
And then I, fully clothed, am going to sell you this pen. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, here's the audio. Okay. Now, obviously, week before the draft, GMs are going to tell you nothing, or they're going to outright lie to you. What about this? What if that audio means he's not worried about that scenario because we're moving up? They still haven't signed a corner.
No.
And everybody thinks trade down. What happens when you hear about something before the draft too much?
Doesn't happen.
Ha. Fully clothed. So,
you got to stop doing this.
I can't help it. That was an amazing WWJ News report. What if a week from tonight, they're actually moving up and they're taking a corner? What if Brad Holmes has centered in as an elite scout, as the guy who corners and safeties were his specialty in Los Angeles? What if Brad Holmes is able to so easily and perfectly answer that question and laugh a little bit because he knows inside that buttoned-up three-piece vest, he's got another card to play? What if we're moving up for what he deems to be the number one corner in the draft?
You know what? How about I meet you halfway? I like what you're thinking. I like where you're going with this.
Fully clothed.
Maybe. Because the thing is, when he makes those senior days and those trips to Alabama, he normally comes away with a player. When you look at the history, he went again this year. We all thought it was for Kool-Aid. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's for Arnold, the better of the corners. Kool-Aid, man, that was last week. Let's get Terrion Arnold. Let's move up. So you're right. And that's one where you don't have to, really break the bank to move up.
And what would set this town ablaze?
You probably need to move up. Let me see that.
14 spots.
No, I was about to say, to get him, you probably need to move about 9 to 10 spots.
Okay.
I just that's what I'm saying. Let's split the difference, because
that's
I think
fine.
He's got an affinity for Alabama players, and it's worked so far.
Brian Branch has put the word out.
Yeah.
I just want to know. We'll have some fun with this. The idea of the trade down has been talked about too much. Brad answered it too perfectly.
He was ready.
And what if in front of 150,000 people? Now, all of a sudden, the Detroit Lions are now on the clock. People will be having babies.
The question is Brad Holmes going to be fully clothed or not?
Fully.
You sure? Because at this point,
at least a vest on.
If he trades up, that's all he would need is a vest. And that's it.
What if Holmes makes the pick, vest, no shirt underneath? Goes full Chippendales. Really just dials it up draft night.
Yeah.
Like Rambo. Yeah. Bullet chain, vest, no shirt.
Come out there to I'm a real American, Hulk Hogan style.
Lions bandana. Yes.
Ear to the crowd. Let me hear it. Kenny, I don't hear you in the back.
Right. But what if the actual plan is they're going to move up? That they don't have that secondary corner with Cam Sutton gone. Holmes has shown you he will maneuver and he will take the players he identifies, right? Mm-hmm. Rico, people at large, David, Kenny. Week from tonight, they make a substantial trade to move up and draft a corner. What is your reaction? 248-539-9797. And I'll get it out of the way. I'd have no problem with it. Because once again, no matter how badly some of you want to act like, oh, you don't trust Brad. I trust Brad explicitly. I don't have to drink his bathwater in free agency. The draft? No qualms. Do whatever the hell you want. But what about a bold draft night move? in front of 150,000 people. Kenny Cott, no pants on. And they move up to pick 15 and take Terry and Arnold. They move up to pick 14 and take Quinyon Mitchell. I'm just asking. 248-539-9797. That audio. They're going to do the opposite of that. Come on. David, tell me. Now, if you think I'm crazy, you could say it. I don't even have feelings. I'm crazy, aren't I?
No, I don't think you're crazy.
I'm crazy.
I will say this. I agree with you, especially on the cornerback situation. Kenny has been yelling at me for a week because all I've been doing is yelling at him over and over again, telling him the Lions are getting a corner. They're getting a corner. I've looked at their top 30 visits that teams do before the draft, and it's nothing but cornerbacks on that list. But there's two names on that list. Quinyon Mitchell, who came in for the local day visit, along with they met at the combine, and then Terrion Arnold, who, Rico, you already mentioned, they went to Alabama's pro day. What's the thing with those two? They're not going to be there at 29.
Oh, that's right.
You have to trade up to get them. And I believe they've fallen in love with one of them, maybe both of them. And yes, a trade up is happening.
See, in their perfect world, all the J.J. Love happens. It's nothing but quarterbacks, wide receivers, O-linemen, Dallas Turner, a bunch of defensive players that I do think if you hit around pick, I'm trying to think because, the Raiders, after the Raiders, and they're still, both of those corners are sitting there. Okay, who can we make that deal with to move up? Who needs this? Who can we make that call to? I mean, you got like I said, I think you probably have to at least move up to the Rams, and I think the Rams are at pick 19. That's the floor. Anything past that, and it's probably, this plan is not going to work. So, he's got a relationship with the Rams that maybe he can pick up the phone. If one of those guys is still there at 19, it would cost, looking at the value chart, you would swap your number 1 pick, plus you would have to give them a number 3 in order to move up to get that corner that you want.
And here's my thing. I trust Brad Holmes enough. If he's identified a corner he likes, I really don't care what it costs to do it. Like, I'm gonna go with it because he's at the craps table. And he's just making point after point after point. The luck will run out. Right. They're going to have a draft bust. They're going to have a bad draft class at some point. I'm just saying, while he's hot, okay, for all the people who like that stupid phrase, let him cook. No, seriously, get him an apron. Let him cook.
Now, if he's really in love with one, he could probably move up if you trade the number 1 and number 2 pick this year. He could move up as high as about pick 16, Seattle. That's about the highest that he could get without having to go and just mortgage the future.
Kenny?
I think my opinion of it would be unmitigated excitement because of exactly what you said. I would think that we're about exactly.
Indeed.
He's built up, as you've said, the track record of, I think we're about to get one of the best corners in this draft if he does that.
And you're a Super Bowl team.
And you're a Super Bowl team.
And you feel you might be one player away.
Exactly. He's built up this track record, and now it pays off. It cashes in. He trades up. I'm almost at a point where he could trade up, and I'm not quite sure I care what he goes after. If he's trading up, I think we're going to get one of the best first-rounders in the draft. And outside of a quarterback,
right,
outside of all that.
Let me sell you this pen. Because Rico brings up something interesting here. When you look at, you're going to see at least 5 receivers go in the top 20. 5 in the top 20 minimum. Mm-hmm. You're going to see likely at least 4 quarterbacks in the top 20.
9 picks.
Okay. Yep. So then you factor in, let's make one assumption. One team is going to do something incredibly stupid. Just brain dead, cheese crunchies for brains, idiocy. That means if you move at all, in essence, you're getting one of the 10 best players in this deal. Mm-hmm. I think that there could be something
because think about it. You still have probably about 3 O-linemen that'll go up in there. So now you're at 12. Dallas Turner's in there. Now you're at 13. If you're the Lions, you need these guys to slide. If they can get to about pick 16, if both are there at pick 15, and that's when you pick up the phone, you call Seattle and say, hey, let's do this. You take we swap first-round picks, plus we give you our second-round pick.
The Brad audio. Do you believe trading out of that pick is the reality? Do you believe that's something that they would do? And obviously, you got an organization to run. But it is a very unique situation coming off the greatest season in team history. The draft is here. There will be 125, 150,000 people here. They're not trading out of that pick, are they? So what would it lead you to? Well, Brad Holmes identifies what he wants, and he points the gun, and he goes after it. What if it's a move up to get a corner? 248-539-9797. We'll start with that. We got the leaked Lions uniforms. We'll get to those as well.
No, this may actually work because here's the other thing. You got between Denver and the Raiders and what the Vikings are going to do, you may see either a Penix or Nick slide into one of those spots as well. So that just keeps pushing all of those corners down. Now, eventually, I think it's going to be one of those where the run-on corners happen, where you see 3 go in a row. But if you could push that down to like the late teens, he's got enough. He can jump in there. It's going to cost you your second rounder.
What is your reaction to it if it happens? Week from tonight, guys. They move up, they take a corner. Or they just move up at all. How about this? Maybe the better way to phrase it is, collectively, could we all be Kenny, where it's, I don't even care necessarily what they take. I like the idea of adding an elite prospect to this Super Bowl team. That's really what moving up is. Maybe Kenny said it best, that it wouldn't matter. That if he moved up,
it wouldn't matter. And
I'll tell you one thing. Your plums would explode if they got a Dunze. I would need a new co-host. Rico would be in a hospital bed with frozen peas on his lap.
No, we would just have him calling in every week. So, Lord, he would be our Jared Goff. The only thing is,
don't be the deflator. Don't do it right now.
All right.
It's 68 and sunny. Don't you dare deflate the vibes.
That's been you for the last 2 days.
Fully clothed. 248-539-9797. We're going to get to your phone calls. We're going to talk about the uniforms a little bit. They got leaked. Rico has a far stronger opinion than I do. I'm going to take a page out of John Jansen's book.
Oh.
No, I'm not going to live in delusion. I'm going to let it play out. And I have a reason. We'll get to all that and more next. 97.1.